Ventilation of the roof system and the attic space is not always possible. So sometimes there has to be a hot roof installed. And by a hot roof, we mean an unventilated roofing system. Typically, a hot roof system is installed when there is a limitation in the attic to ventilate it, so there's not enough space, or if the R value or the insulation value is at a premium in the decision-making process. What is an attic space? For most buildings with a pitched roof, the attic space is defined as the unconditioned space above the ceiling and up to the roof deck. So it's that air cavity that doesn't have any HVAC going into it, but it's a critical component of the building system. Common applications for hot roofs would include your bay windows or your bump outs on your home. Or they could also include spaces that have been converted from unconditioned space to conditioned space. For example, a screened-in porch or a garage that was that did not have an attic space originally in its design and has been converted. And probably the most popular one, or the one we see the most, are your cathedral or vaulted ceilings. The most important thing to know about unvented roofing systems is that the insulation needs to be air permeable and also thick enough so that the conditioned space or the air inside the building that comes into contact with the insulation layer doesn't get cold enough so that there's condensation that is occurring, because condensation is what can facilitate mold growth. Most of Kansas is in climate zone 4, meaning an R15 value is required. The most common way that hot roofs achieve this is by applying closed cell spray insulation directly to the roof deck. What are the pros of a hot roof unventilated system? Sometimes it's not possible to do the ventilation, and so but you still need insulation. So in those cases, a hot roof or in using the closed cell spray foam is the best option. Also, if your only goal is insulation and there were no other variables in place, then that would also lean towards being a pro for a hot roof. But unfortunately, that is usually not the case because we have other variables that can make this a bigger problem. So that would lead to the cons. It's very difficult to achieve to make it completely airtight. So what that can happen is if it's not, and it's not ventilated, that moisture can't get out. And so some moisture is creeping in, then that can lead to mold. Secondly, the cost of a hot roof is actually higher than just ventilating the attic space through traditional manner, like using intake vents and exhaust vents on your roof. Third, so if you have a spray foam on your roof deck, you might have a roof leak allowing that moisture in, but you can never see it from the inside your home. And therefore you could be getting water inside of that area that has no way of ventilating, and then that can create an issue of mold. Another challenge with a hot roof or unventilated attic space is the cost to repair or replace it. Remember, that spray foam is stuck to the deck underneath the roof. So it creates different variables once you get into the maintenance mode. All roofs eventually have to be replaced. So when you use a closed spray foam insulation underneath, you're adding another cost associated with that, whether that's installing the roof or having to redo the spray foam installation on the inside. One thing you want to consider is if you're trying to do an unventilated attic space or a hot roof over your entire attic space, and not just like your cathedral areas or your bay windows, is if you have like a traditional attic, is that most manufacturers will not warranty their shingles over a hot roof or unventilated attic space. So it's critical that you check the fine print in the manufacturer's warranty from your manufacturer to make sure that they will stand behind their typical manufacturer's material warranty on the package if you are to install a hot roof or a closed attic space. There Usually very specific use cases like your cathedral ceilings or something like that. If you're using it beyond that, do your research. If your home wasn't originally designed this way, special precautions have to be taken. So think about it before you do it. They're usually only used in specific cases. So just always, reach out to a professional. Rhoden Roofing is always here if you have any questions. Feel free to reach out to us today to learn more about hot roofs and unventilated attic spaces.